Ready to go?
We don't have Jay.
I'll be fine. All right, I'm gonna call this, Tuesday, February 25th, 2025, Area Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. Can I get a roll call of the members, please?
Andy Bailey,
Here.
Grant Muller,
Here.
Stacy Pettigo. Never mind, absent. Scott Hesmesberger. Chester Vegas.
Here.
Sorry, it's been a really long day. Liz Ditzel and Kat Bell as staff are also present. Attorney Jay Moore is absent at the moment.
Very good. Everybody have a chance to look over the minutes, have any corrections or anything?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Minutes are approved. Old business, there is none. It's now time for the public hearings. We've got one tonight, which is application number CC 2025-00052, docket number 3-25-SE. It's a petition for Tate George, and they're asking for a special exception. Can you take us through the staff report, please?
As you noted, it's applicant is Tate George. It's a special exception requesting a single residence in the agricultural zoning district. This property and everything surrounding it are all zoned agriculturally. And this site is about a 10-acre lot. It's on the north side of West Gas Line Road between Hamilton Road and 700 West, section 22 of Madison Township. It's a first split off a 60.8 acre parent tract, and for the record, Attorney Jay Moore just arrived. The petition site is completely farm ground. It belongs to the petitioner's family, and the petitioner would like to split the 10 acres to build a dwelling for himself to live on, and the reason he wants more land is because he wants to remain involved in agriculture on that land and also raise goats. There's a map there that kind of shows you the lot outlined in red on the aerial. You can see there's residentially zoned land really, really close to the southeast. And then Mulberry would be up to the west if you went far enough. So on the second page, in fact, you can see the town of Mulberry there and the parent tract outlined, and then a picture just from the road. It's been a field. So this was scored under the point system, but it was only able to obtain 4 points, mainly due to the site being 10 acres in size. The point system discourages administrative approvals of stuff that's between 2 acres and 20 acres without it coming to the BZA. So in terms of a request analysis, there's 4 criteria from 513.03, which the board needs to affirmatively find. First, the lot shall be located such that the proximity to other dwellings, the configuration of the parent tract to the location of creeks, ditches, and other natural features have the least negative impact on the use of agricultural equipment or the use of the property as part of a farm. So it does appear that this has been farmed as cropland. The 10 acres being proposed for creating the lot will be in the smaller portion of the tract because it kind of bottlenecks down to gas line, but it will still allow room to access the rest of the tract for farming, which is to the rear, in order for farming practices to continue behind it. 2, locating a dwelling on the new lot would not require changes in road surfaces or bridges. So this is off a paved road that's well maintained, serves farm equipment and quite a few homes. It doesn't appear that a new dwelling would have much effect on traffic flow or volume. 3, locating a dwelling on the new lot would not interfere with current agricultural practices in the adjacent area nor substantially restrict the expansion of confined feedings and other agricultural practices. So this lot will be directly off gas line. The remainder of the parent tract will continue to be farmed by the petitioner's family. The petitioner will be raising goats on this property, so it will move to an animal ag type of use along with the house instead of tillable. There is some viable farmland being taken out of production. There will be a confined feeding operation for the goats there. But in terms of affecting larger CAFOs, there's a number of dwellings and a town that are all around this nearby. So the only land that is not currently restricted from having a confined feeding operation that putting a house here would additionally restrict is land the petitioner owns. Everything east, west, and south is pretty much already locked out for confinement facilities. And there's a map that I think Kat forwarded with the staff report that I went ahead and did with this one, just so you could kind of see how those circles overlap. Four, that there are mitigating circumstances in the application of the above rating criteria. So the primary mitigating circumstance, in particular for why a 10-acre lot might make sense in this case instead of something smaller, is the fact the petitioner does want to move his goat raising operation from his parents' property to this lot, continuing with an agricultural use. Since it's not 20 acres, it's not officially considered a farm, but it's not going to be mowed as grass, you know, to where you're just losing it. It's just changing what form of ag it's used for. And the tract will remain in the petitioner's family. There's 6 special exception standards in general that also have to be considered from 203.11. First, the proposed use conforms to the district provisions in which it will be located and the general regulations of the ordinance. If the special exception is granted, then a single-family home would be permitted. One should note that this will require minor subdivision approval from the Area Plan Commission if the BZA approves it. 2, the proposed use shall not involve an element or cause a condition that may be dangerous, injurious, or noxious to any other property or persons, and shall comply with the performance standards herein. The health department has stated they have no objections. The soils test is on file and the lot is suitable for septic. It will require perimeter drain. That outlet can be identified at the Plan Commission subdivision approval stage. 3, the proposed use shall be sited, oriented, and landscaped so the relationship of its buildings and grounds to adjacent buildings and properties does not impair health, safety, or comfort, nor adversely affect values of adjacent properties. So this site is all farm ground with some other dwelling sites in the vicinity. They're kind of spaced out a little bit. According to the UDO, 10 goats is 1 animal unit. So when we look at the equivalence, it does look like having livestock here can meet the reciprocal setbacks required from other dwellings and the town of Mulberry without needing to seek a variance. The house itself, there's already a number of other houses near this, so it doesn't seem that there's going to be a major adverse effect on other values of homes or farm ground. 4, the proposed use shall produce a total environmental effect consistent with and not harmful to the environment of the neighborhood. So again, there's a number of existing homes, already 10 of them within a half mile of this site. So this is kind of already a transitional area. As we kind of know, when you get toward Mulberry and Rossville, this isn't our most uninterrupted farm ground types of areas. 5, the proposed use shall organize vehicular access and parking to minimize conflicting traffic movement on adjacent streets. They need 2 spaces. That fits in 10 acres easily. And finally, the proposed use shall promote the objectives of the ordinance and be consistent with the comprehensive plan. So objective 1, policy 1 in the comprehensive plan states to minimize development on agricultural land. The Madison Township Future Land Use Plan designates the township as having more varied topography than most townships and several areas designated for rural residential development, along with the continued use of the point system as a valid tool. Although this petition site is taking 10 acres of viable farm ground out of cropland production, it will continue to have an agricultural use taking place on it. Madison Township's also likely to continue to experience more development pressure given its proximity to Lafayette, the Canoe County. And this is within a half mile of one of the areas that is actually designated for residential development and zoned residentially. So the request does appear to meet the objectives and goals. Consequently, staff would recommend to approve the request for a single home with the note that minor subdivision approval will still be necessary from the Plan Commission if approved.
Thank you, Liz. Does the petitioner have anything to add to the staff report? Okay. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on the case?
Well, I'm probably the closest.
Can you go to the mic? Sorry, I didn't, state your name, please.
Rita Cornell, and I live the closest to this area. I've been there 46 years as of June 2nd this year, so I kind of know the territory a little bit. Mr. Marshall Hill used to live in my home. Well, yeah, it was his first. But my concern is the water level. I know being out in the country, yes, there are creeks around. They've been very, very low, and they get lower every year, which means my water table is probably not as good as it was when we moved in. I'm very glad that they said that they were not putting in a subdivision, but I'm still concerned that more wells, more septic, everything that's going to take water, animals and everything, that's going to take more of a draw on that water that is there. So I'm concerned about that. I'm not cracked up about having more traffic on the road, and I'm sorry, but it's not a well-kept road, especially after last year when Gas Line Road became the highway when the highway was being repaired. It's in need of help. But other than that, those are my biggest concerns. When we moved out there, we wanted to raise our kids where they could see the deer, the coyotes, they're still there. And that is the streamline between the north and south woods. They go right through that territory. And there are a lot of accidents out there, a lot of near misses too. But it's something to consider because it's highly traveled, and between 5:30 in the evening until about 7, and then 7 in the morning until about 9:30 in the morning, the deer are on the move. And so another dwelling there is going to cut into their pathway, so they're going to make a new one. So those are my concerns.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything to add?
Does somebody have a map that I could look at?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Harold Marshall. I was over at the office twice.
Yeah, and I would note just on the septic is one thing, but on the water levels, this area, like Perry Township, is actually not served off regular water tables. It's served off the Taze River, which, I don't know that any of us know about water, but there's no indication that it's
Yeah.
inadequate. We're very blessed with water resources, we just can't get rid of it. Okay, so this map is gonna show you the best.
So this is the 20 acres.
No, only 10 acres.
Okay, oh, they're one.
Yeah, they're gonna have goats in a house, so they don't need to be ag, I'm assuming approved.
Well,
you're-
this is,
Yeah, so
this is what I'm trying to point out.
it has to be advertised for the whole legal description, so anyone that lives within a perimeter of that whole 60 acres would have gotten notice.
All right.
So, but it's just the 10 that they want to divide off, so if they get approval tonight, then they'll create a subdivision. We require a subdivision for anything less than 20, because we require a covenant that prevents an owner of that house from suing farmers for agricultural activities, and that's the way we get that covenant on the property.
But then can they sell those other acres to make a subdivision later on?
Well, it would have to come back here. I mean,
I know.
you could sell your house and divide it too. I mean, I can't speak to the future, but we can't stop someone from buying or selling something. But if more home lots were working, it would have to come back through boards of hearings. They've only advertised and requested a single house on the single 10, so that's all that would be approved. If anything else happened, it would be re-advertised.
Harold Marshall, I live in Lafayette. I own 90 acres to the east and to the south. Now Rita lives in the house I used to own. I put a new well in, 215 feet deep with 195 feet of water. Now, just an example, that's what you might be facing, is a deeper well. I'm not against it, don't get me wrong. But there's, that's another thing to take into consideration. And also drainage, does it go to the north, the south, east, or the west? I mean, tile and surface.
Surface, most of it will be acre. So,
Well, I have two tile that goes into that 60 acres. But it rains through my place.
is it close to the gas line, or is it in the back in that low spot?
One goes under the east-west fence,
Right?
and the other tile goes under the north-south fence.
Okay. Yeah. East-west fence there in the back, then.
Well,
North end of it.
is there any wetlands?
No, there's no
No, there's
wetlands on
no
that
wetlands.
property. The federal maps don't show anything either that's been cleared illegally. I mean, we have a lot of farmers that clear them out, but no, there's no wetland, on that property. I don't think there's any floodplain either.
I don't think so.
Oh, it's
Nope.
pretty high ground.
Mhm.
It's pretty
So-
high ground.
Just normal Clinton County drainage problems.
Yeah.
Is there any further discussion? We'll go to board discussion if not. Okay. I'll entertain some board discussion or a motion or,
I don't see many issues with it.
No, it's pretty high ground. It's, and it's not too far from the city limits already. It is a pretty area.
Mhm.
I can see where the deer would be there, so,
Deer everywhere though.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But it looks like it's, something I'd support.
that a motion?
I'll be glad to give it a motion. I just wanted to give time for discussion in case somebody else wanted to.
I don't have anything else to add.
I don't either.
All right, well, I'd like to make I better look at the last part here. Make sure I don't have, yeah. So I'd like to make a motion to approve application CC 2025 00052, docket number 03 25 SE, according to the findings of the staff report, which are incorporated in the motion by reference.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Chester moved and Grant seconded. Roll call vote when you're ready.
Andy Bailey,
Yes?
Grant Muller,
Yes.
Scott Hosensberger,
Yes.
Chester Bankus.
Yes.
Motion passes. So they'll have to go to do subdivision over at area plan, so
Yeah,
that'll be
Bill,
the
your
next
step will
step.
be to,
And so there'll be
you can
another
check with
meeting.
Pat, but yeah, find a surveyor and start on, your plating process.
Yeah, it's a one lot
Just the one
minor.
lot.
Yeah, it's just a
Yep.
one lot, Mike.
Yep.
Any new business?
No, I don't think we have anything.
Okay. Next meeting is scheduled for the 25th of March, 2025. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second.